Well, let's call the meeting to order. Thank you all for appearing at this meeting, our January 2021 board meeting. The first item on our agenda is to welcome all the new board members, all the HART appointees. Eric Johnson, whom is present. Eric, we're really happy to have you. Councilman, City of Tampa Councilman Louis Vieira.
I'm here. I just got on, sir. Louis Vieira.
Hey, Louis. Great. Thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
HART board member, and I believe that she's the vice chairman of the HART board, Melanie Williams. HART board member Tyler Hudson, whom we know well. HART board member Richard McLean. Tyler and Richard are both alternates. So Eric and Louis and Ms. Williams, welcome. I also want to welcome Adelaide LeGrand, our new CEO. I had an opportunity to have a phone call with her recently, and it was really pleasant and fun. And we're really happy to have her here, and we're happy to have all the new board members, too. I guess we cannot elect a new secretary-treasurer. That'll have to wait till next month. And we cannot approve minutes. Do we have any public input? I think not. I think I heard.
Yes, President English, this is Danielle from HART. There was no public input. No one pre-registered for it.
Okay, great. Thanks. Streetcar performance report, Mr. Allen.
Yes, good afternoon. Brian Allen, Director of Streetcar Operations. For December, I'll start out with ridership. It was 48,194. This
Is better.
last year. And of those, we had 38 wheelchair riders. For the month, we had 30.25 missed trips out of the scheduled 4,000.
Brian, this is Danielle from HART. Do you mind getting closer to your mic? It's a little bit hard to hear you.
Okay, is this any better?
Yeah, sort of.
I apologize, there's quite a bit of noise here.
President English, do you mind muting your mic while you're not speaking?
Danielle, is this any better?
It is. Thank you, Brian.
Sure. And on-time performance for the month was 99.8% with 8 reported late departures. And from a staffing standpoint, we had 2 motormen start training on November 9th. They both graduated on January 9th, coincidentally. And we have a full complement of operators now, which is something we haven't had in quite some time. Danielle, can you put the presentation up, the picture, please? And as some of you know, back in March, we sent 2 of the streetcars to Gamaica, who was the original manufacturer of our cars. 428 and 432 went up there. What you see here is 2 weeks ago, this is how 428 looks. It has been totally rehabbed. The schedule is it will be loaded on February 4th. For delivery in Tampa on February 11th. When they deliver this car, car 434 will go up to Jamaica for rehab. It'll be the 3rd of 4 cars to get rehab. And once this car arrives here, we will be going through commissioning of it, which will take approximately 2 weeks, after which it will join the active fleet in revenue service. Streetcar 429, which was in involved in the accident back in February, which was total. The car was involved in an accident with the charter buses seen here. We had the car returned to us. It is currently being stripped of usable parts, and when that is completed, we will be disposing of the car bodies. And finally, as part of my report, HART is recommending to the THS board that they approve extending the streetcar service until 1 a.m. on Thursday, February 4th, and Sunday, February 7th, to better serve people that are in the downtown area for the Super Bowl experience, which is going on along the Riverwalk. Streetcars will run Friday and Saturday normally till 2 a.m., so this is this kind of is in line with everything that will be going on. It will also help us serve the public better after they get done with the event. Does anyone have any questions for us?
I have a question. We don't have a quorum, so we can't officially give you authority to run those extra hours. But I think if there's a consensus here from us present, I think you need to go ahead and do that.
If we were to have a quorum, I would be motioning that we move forward with the extended hours.
That's good. So, Ruthie, I don't know what else we can do here except to say it is our consensus that you go ahead and increase those hours to meet the Super Bowl crowd needs.
Yes, sir. We'll accommodate this request as it does serve the community and HART well to make sure that we're available during these expected events.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Are there any other questions of Mr. Allen? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Allen.
Thank you.
Let's move to legal and legislative report, update on CSX Tracks title search, Mr. Smolker.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dave Smolker, General Counsel for THS. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
We had a little bit of an IT issue. I think we've corrected it. Yes, on the CSX title search, for reasons that I think will become obvious on the other item that I'm going to discuss with you, we have not moved forward on the CSX Tracks title search. The reason is that the original, I think, intent of doing that was so that we could be prepared when we spoke to CSX about the possibility of reducing the coverage amounts, and figured that we might be able to find something that would be helpful in those negotiations. Our insurance agent, Grant Mielek, has taken it upon himself, under the direction of the President, to contact CSX about seeing if they're willing to agree to reduce the current $100 million CSX coverage requirement. And he has had discussions with CSX. It's looking very positive. He's thinking that we may be able to get a reduction down from 100 million to 50 million, which obviously would be a substantial savings of money for THS. Nothing is official yet, but the indications are very positive. There's a couple of wrinkles that will have to be addressed that relate to the city of Tampa. And so we just heard from CSX in that regard, so we're going to reach out to the city and attempt to address those issues. So we didn't feel that it was worth spending money on the CSX Tracks title search if, in fact, we were able to accomplish the objective without spending that money. A couple of other items. One is, and this is really sort of informational, under the terms of the operating agreement between HART and THS, we are required to periodically sit down and explore the possibility of amending the agreement. I'm aware that HART would like to sit down and start talking about some possible changes to the operating agreement. And so this is really more of just a notification to the board that the president and I will be setting up a meeting to meet with Hart to talk about possible changes to the operating agreement, which is something that if we're going to make changes, we're going to need to do it this year. And then there's also an information item for you. We have historically entered into separate agreements from Hart with Vector Media, who is also the vendor who provides advertising services to Hart. And it has been, it's a relatively small amount. And, you know, to the extent that doesn't make a lot of practical sense, we concluded for us to continue to have a separate agreement, especially given the fact that Hart is really operating the system, and that part of that operation arguably includes advertising-related services that are provided either by sponsors or on the streetcars themselves. And so rather than entering into a new agreement with Vector Media, we discussed with Hart about rolling in our advertising needs into their existing contract. And Hart has gone ahead and approved a resolution in early January that will roll our advertising needs into their existing contract. And the president and I are both comfortable with that. And so we just wanted to give you an informational update on that. It will eliminate the need for us to have to continually enter into these agreements with Vector Media separate and apart from Hart. Another item that's not on the list, but something that I think would be worth noting, and that is, if you'll recall, the transportation referendum was challenged successfully, in part, and has worked its way up to the Florida Supreme Court. And the court has had that case now pending since February, almost a full year now, since it was orally argued. And my understanding is that the Florida Supreme Court has still not yet ruled, but in speaking with one of the appellate lawyers that's involved, he explained to me that they expect probably to get a ruling on that very soon, given the fact that the Supreme Court of Florida tries to rule at least within a year. So, in any event, we probably will be getting some news on that. And obviously, there's a place in the proposed list of capital improvements and other facilities that were encompassed within the plan for THS to be able to expand. So, just wanted to give you all a heads up on that. And I think that would conclude my report unless there's any questions.
Are there any questions of Mr. Smoker? Hearing none, thank you, David. That's a good report. Positive. We kind of felt that we didn't have any choice on the Vector media contract. It expired it was going to expire at the end of the year. So when we have a quorum, we should probably have a vote to affirm that decision.
A vote to I think would be in order.
I beg your pardon?
I say a vote to ratify once we have a quorum would be the appropriate action.
Yeah, we don't have a quorum today, David, so we'll have to do it next month.
Understood.
Thank you. The next item on is the chair's report, and I don't have anything in particular. Mr. Smoker covered most of it. I will say Mr. Smoker and I have both been pretty impressed with Grant Mielek, who, on his own recognizance, really believed that he had the logic system necessary to approach CSX about reducing the amount of liability insurance we're required to have. And if it can be accomplished, it's a big deal. It will save us a lot of money. CSX seems to be reasonably interested. They're asking some intelligent questions. So we will be reaching out to the city attorney and to Vic Bidet, the city's Director of Mobility so that they understand what's going on. City Attorney is going to have to look at that contract, and if the Hart Legal Counsel is interested in knowing more about it, I would encourage that person and Mr. Smoker to get together and talk about it too. So everybody's aware of what's going on. But I must say I'm very impressed with Mr. Mielek, who's doing this basically in his own recognizance in the process of negotiating our next insurance premium. So let's move to the Hart CEO's report. Would that be Ruthie Reyes today? Or Miss LeGrand?
So hello, I don't believe Danielle, I don't think we have an official report. I was just going to say my greetings. I wasn't here last month to provide any updates, but just wanted to say hello to everyone. I did have a great conversation with Mr. English last week and realized that we have some of the same colleagues and have crossed some of the same paths over the last 20 years. The world is definitely small. So looking forward to working closely with Mr. English and the entire board and advancing the streetcar system in Tampa. So that's that for me. Next month, I'm sure I'll have more to share. I'll have more information, spend more time with Brian, and also look at the existing action items that we need to address. So thank you again for the opportunity and looking forward to further engagement.
Thank you, Ms. LeGrand. We're all very happy to have you here, as well as our new board members. The next agenda item is the Vector Media Sales Activity Update. Mr. Rowland.
Good afternoon, President English, Board. The only really big new item is that we have a new sponsorship with Anheuser-Busch for a total revenue of $28,000. That was related to Super Bowl 55, a full wrap on a streetcar. And total revenue year to date at this point is $81,982. And that's the gist of the report. Nothing a whole lot other than the Super Bowl wrap for $28,000.
That's great. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
We move to old business. Is there any old business to come before us? Is there any new business to come before us? If not, I think this meeting is adjourned, and we will work very hard to have a quorum for our meeting next month, which I think will be a little busier than this meeting anyway. So thank you all very much for either coming virtually or in person. We really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great afternoon.
Okay, bye-bye.